Welcome everyone. In this video lecture, we'll look into the next category of the Cortex M3 instruction set, that is branching instructions. So just like any other programming language, branching can be conditional or unconditional. So we'll look into each of these one by one. Unconditional means without any condition, you jump to a given label. Just like in C programming, you must have come across go to a given label, right? So similar to that, here you have the unconditional branch instruction, or it could be a call as well, call to a subroutine or a function call. So the syntax I will just explain along with an example itself. So B label. So this B stands for branch. It's the mnemonic for unconditional branch, and label means it will be consisting of some offset, or it pertains to a memory location address. Okay, so it branches to the labeled address. Suppose you have the branching address in a register, then the instruction becomes BX register, the name of the register. So that means branch to an address specified by the register. So both of these are branch itself, unconditional branch itself, but in the first case you specify the address directly as a part of an instruction by means of a label. You don't have to write the address as such, you just have to give the label and the particular instruction where it has to branch to, that also should be having the same label. So, and in case you have the label in or the address to be branched to in a register, then this BX instruction is used along with that register name. So in BX instructions, the LSB, the least significant bit of the value contained in the register, determines the next state of the processor. So here remember that Cortex M3 supports thumb 2 technology. And what is the speciality of this thumb 2 technology? It has avoided the overhead of state switching. That is, you don't have to change states from ARM to thumb. Always it will be in the thumb mode itself. So that is why the least significant bit of the address that is contained in the register should be always 1. So in traditional processors, this bit, if it was 0, it means that it is in the ARM state, and if it is 1, it is in the thumb state. But now since it is always in the thumb state only, there is no switching task at all, hence this bit should be always 1 to indicate that the Cortex M3 always is in the thumb state. Suppose if for some reason it is 0, then there will be a fault exception that is caused, and this fault exception occurs when you are trying to do something which you are not allowed to. Okay, so in the Cortex M3 you are not allowed to change state from thumb to ARM. So in case you make this bit 0, then you are trying to change it to ARM state, and hence this fault exception will occur. That was regarding unconditional branch. Now suppose you want to call a function or a subroutine, then also it is unconditional branch itself, but here in addition to that you have to store the return address after the function call. So for that, the BL, there are special branching instructions like BL. So BL label means it branches to the labeled address and saves the return address in the link register. As you know, R14 is the link register that holds the return address after a subroutine call or a function call. Now suppose if the return address is in a register, then the mnemonic becomes BLX register. So this branches to an address specified by the register and saves the return address in the LR or the link register. So with these instructions, the return address will be stored in the link register. So if I have to execute this instruction, say BL label, then suppose BL function. So you have the main program. So you have BL function. So this causes the link, this address of the next instruction to be stored in the link register, right? So this will take the control to the point where the function is written, executes the instruction, and at the end of the instruction you may have to write BXLR. This is because at the end of the instruction you have to return to at the end of the function you have to return to this place. The address of this instruction is stored in the LR register, and since it is a register, the branching unconditional branching instruction becomes BX. So BXLR will take you to the point from where it has to continue after the function call. Apart from unconditional branching, next is conditional branching. So in conditional branching, branching occurs based on a particular condition. Only if that condition is satisfied, then the branching will occur. So most of the time these conditional branches are formed by the flags in the APSR. So APSR is the application processor status register. So these flags will be set or reset based on the execution of some instructions, and these actually form the conditional branching statements, form the basis for the conditional branching statements. So we have five flags actually, out of which only 4 flags are used for conditional branching, that is the NZCV flags. N stands for the negative flag, that is to check whether the number is positive or negative. Z is for zero flag, C is for carry flag, and V is for overflow flag. So with these 4 flags, 15 branching instructions are defined. So using these instructions, the branch instructions can be written as like this. I'll just give you an example. BEQ label. That means branch on equal. So equal, this is associated with the Z flag always. Equal means Z flag. That means if the two numbers or the register that you are checking for is equal to 0, then the Z flag will be set. Otherwise the Z flag will not be set. So if the Z flag is set, then the branch will occur to this label. Or I have the thumb to version, that is if the branch target is farther away, then the thumb to version of the same instruction would look like BEQ.W label. Okay, so like this you can form the conditional branching instructions based on the flags. Here is the table that displays the conditions for different branches or other conditional operations. So here I have EQ. So just we have seen this example. EQ is equal, condition is equal. This will be when the Z flag is set. NE is for not equal, that is when the Z flag is reset or cleared. CS bar HS. So CS stands for carry set, and HS is unsigned higher or same. This is when the carry flag is set. CC or LO. CC is for carry clear or unsigned lower. So this is also when the carry is cleared. So MI minus or negative, that is when the negative flag is set. PL is for plus or positive or 0. This is when the negative flag is cleared. VS is for overflow flag set. VC for overflow flag cleared. So HI is for unsigned higher, and LS is for unsigned lower or same. Okay, just here we had higher or same and lower. So this is just opposite of that, higher and lower or same, LS. Okay, then you have for signed numbers GE, that is signed greater than or equal to. LT is signed less than. GT is only greater than, signed greater than, and LE is signed less than or equal to. So then AL stands for always, that is unconditional. Just B can also be replaced by BAL, that is branch always. Okay. So these conditions have to be combined with the B to branch to a given instruction, or they can also be combined with other data processing instructions. We'll see some examples later. Okay. So the usual notion is all data processing instructions affect the conditional flags, but most of the time these 16-bit thumb arithmetic instructions affect the flags, but the 32-bit counterpart of these instructions do not affect the flag, may or may not affect the flag based on the mnemonic that we have used. So if the mnemonic is add s, then the instruction affects the flag, and if the instruction is just add, then it does not affect the flag. So here add s dot w r0 comma r1 plus r comma r2 will add r1 and r2 and store the result in r0. Along with that, update the status of the flags because there is a s here. Whereas the same instruction written here with the absence of this s will not update the flags. So both these are 32-bit thumb instructions because of this dot w, but presence of s will affect the flag, absence of s will not affect or update the flag. Whereas this problem does not arise when you are using 16-bit thumb arithmetic instructions. These instructions always affect the flags. These arithmetic instructions always affect the flags. At this point of time, we are quite equipped to write a simple program, a complete program. So I'll take up a simple example of adding numbers. So it's just a, I'm sorry, it is not a complete program, it's just a piece of code. So here I have the C program that is adding numbers 1 to 10. So I have an integer defined as total and an integer I that functions as a counter variable, and this total is going to hold the sum of the numbers from 1 to 10. So first I have initialized the total to 0. Then I have a for loop which starts from you could have gone for the incremental for loop also, that is which goes from 0 to 10. In this example it is decremental for loop, that is initialized to 10, then it is decremented every time till it becomes equal to 0, and every time I is added to the previous sum. It's a simple logic of adding numbers from 1 to 10. So how it would look like when you come to assembly language programming. Okay, so here first what I do is just like I have done here to hold the total, I mean sum, I've declared a total and initialized to 0. Just like that I will assign or allot one register R0 to hold the sum. Okay, so that is why I have initialized it to 0, that is by moving immediate value 0 into R0 I have initialized the sum to 0. And next instruction here is declare a counter variable, and I have in this for loop I have initialized it to 10. So for that purpose I will be using the register R1 which I initialize to 10. Okay, so this R1 will be functioning as a counter variable same as I in our C code. Okay, so for that move R1 comma hash 10, this is going to move 10 into R1. So the next instruction is add R0 comma R0 comma 1. So this is going to add R0 with the R1, and the sum is being stored in R0. Okay, so previous value of R0 is 0 initially and R1 is 10. So this will be added and the sum will be stored in R0. So now since one number is added, so subtract r1 comma r1 minus 1. So what I am doing is r1 is actually 10. So from that I am subtracting 1 and I am storing it in r1. Okay. So r1 will be now 9. r0 will be now 10. Okay. Now you can note here there is a s here. Okay. So this to be on the safer side we have used. Otherwise it is not really essential, because when you are writing when you are executing these programs, by default the assembler will take the 16-bit instructions, and 16-bit instruction do not have that problem of whether they are going to update the flags or not, because all 16-bit arithmetic instructions are going to update the flags. But just for understanding, this is SUBS, that is subtract along with update the status flags. Okay, so this will subtract from R1 1 and store it in R1 and also affects the flags. Now the conditional branching instruction is BNE. That means if R1 is non-zero, then the Z flag will be not set. That is, it will not be set, it will be 0, right? Okay, on this the Z flag will be set only when R1 becomes equal to 0. So as you go on, it will decrement every time, and finally it will become 0. That time only the 0 flag will be set to 1. So here the condition is BNE, that is branch on not equal, or in other words branch if Z is not equal to 1. So Z is not equal to 1 because R1 is 9. So it will branch to again. So again is the label that you have given to this instruction, that is add. Okay. So second time also it will add. Now R0 was 10 and R1 is 9. So it will add 10 plus 9 and the sum will be 19. Next R1 minus 1. So R1 current value is 9 minus 1. So R1 becomes 8. Again it checks if the 0 flag is set. No. Okay, so it will branch. If the 0 flag is not set, then it will branch here. So this will continue till it adds all the numbers, that is 10 plus 9 plus 8 plus so on, till the R1 value becomes 0. So finally when R1 was 1, 1 minus 1 will become 0. So now when you check branch or not equal, okay, so this condition will not be satisfied. This is going to branch to again only if it is not equal. Not equal means Z is not equal to 1. So now when R1 has become 0, the result of this instruction is a 0, and hence it will cause the 0 flag to be set. So this condition is not satisfied now because Z is 1. That is why it will not branch, but it will come to the next instruction after this branch, right? After this branch instruction, and the next instruction is branch to halt. It's an unconditional branch, branch to halt. Halt is the address of the same instruction, so it is simply an infinite loop to stop computation. So these are not branching instructions, but these are instructions that are going to affect the flags, and these flags, as I've told you, form the basis for conditional branching. So we have this compare instruction CMP. So CMP also takes two operands, say CMP R0 comma R1. So what these instructions stands for is it is to compare two numbers. So while comparing, it subtracts one number from the other. That is actually CMP R0 comma R1 means it finds R0 minus R1. But you don't find the difference stored in any registers. It only updates the flag based on this result. Okay. So looking at the flag, you have to decide or branch whether it is equal or to do decide whether the two numbers are equal or not. The second operand can also be an immediate value. So then the instruction becomes CMP R0 comma hash some value, that is 0x12. Okay, this is going to subtract 12 from R0 and it is going to update the flags accordingly. A slight variation of this compare instruction is CMN. So this is going to subtract the negative value of the second operand. So actually the expression is R0 minus R1. Okay, it forms the negative of the second operand and subtract it from the first operand. So it is actually this, and hence after the computation it is going to update the flags. Similarly, CMN also can have the second operand as a immediate value, which is going to compute the expression R0 plus the immediate value. In this case it is 12 and updates the flag accordingly. Then you have the test instruction. This is actually not going to subtract, but it is to perform and operation. Okay, so TST R0, R1 means it is going to find the AND of bitwise AND of R0 and R1, and again here also you will not find the result anywhere, but only the status flags will be updated based on the result. Here also I can have the second operand as 0, second operand as a immediate value. Here also it forms the bitwise AND of the first and the second operands and updates the flags accordingly. The compare instruction and the conditional branch instruction can be combined. There are two instructions doing this job, that is CBZ, compare and branch if 0, and CBNZ, that is compare and branch if non-zero. So we'll look into one of these in an example. So I have here a piece of code in C, I equal to 5, while I not equal to 0, it enters the loop, that is as long as I is non-zero it enters the loop and calls a function by name function 1, and every time you call that function and return back you will increment this counter variable I, and again it goes back and checks the condition. So if it is non-zero, again the function is called by entering the loop. That is how it goes on. Okay, so this loop eventually will be executed 5 times. So when it becomes equal to 0, this condition is not satisfied, so it will exit the loop. So for that, as you see here, I'll just translate this into assembly code. So I have the counter variable here I equal to 5. So here I'll be using R0 as the counter variable and I initialized it with 5, that is move R0 comma hash 5. Okay, so the here the condition is while I not equal to 0. So I have to check if R0 is not equal to 0. So I am not performing any data processing operation here. So usually in the previous slides we have seen the status flags will be updated by the execution of data processing instructions. The move data transfer instructions are not going to update the status flags. Okay, so this is a data transfer instruction, so it is not going to update any status flags. But now I will give some label to this line, that is loop 1, and now I say CBZ, that is CBZ R0. Okay, that means it has got two operands. First one is a register which is to be compared, and the second one will be the branching address. Okay, so here this is going to compare R0 and branch if R0 is equal to 0. Can you understand this? Compare and branch if 0. So what you have to compare? For that I am giving one operand R0. Okay, so compare if R0 is equal to 0, and if yes, then branch to this address. Okay, so as long as it is not equal to 0, it will call the function. So if it is 0, it is going to branch to the loop 1 exit. So since if it is not 0, so initially it is 5, so this condition is not satisfied. Okay, R0 is not equal to 0. So it will enter this, it will come to the next instruction. Next instruction is a call to that function call. So function call, as we know, the mnemonic is BL, and the function address, name of the function. So function 1. Okay. Once it comes back from the function call, here the counter variable is decremented by 1. So counter variable is R0. So I am decrementing it by 1, sub R0 comma #1. Okay. So it is subtracting R0 by 1. And here bracket close means it will go back to loop. So here I am replacing a unconditional branch to loop 1. So which is that loop 1? It is the starting of the checking for condition. Okay. So again it will check. So R0 now has become 4 because of this decrementing by 1. Now again you check if 4 is equal to 0. So it is not, that's why it will come here, call the function again, subtract again 1 and unconditionally branch to loop 1. So every time it will go on, and once when R0 becomes equal to 0, when it was 1 it will come here 1 minus 1 0. So now it will branch loop, it will come back to this point. Now you are checking branch if compare and branch if 0. So it is comparing R0 with 0. Yes, now it is 0. So the 0 flag is set. Okay. So after comparison 0, so 0 flag will be set. So now it will branch to the label loop 1 exit, and loop 1 exit is exiting this loop. Okay, that is the program code. This piece of code is exactly translated using assembly code, using this into assembly code using this instruction CBZ. Okay. So the usage of CBNZ is similar to CBZ, but here the condition is if the Z flag is not set, then it will be taking the branch. Okay. And main point to note here is the APSR, the flags. APSR means application program processor status register. These flags are not affected by the CBZ and CBNZ instructions. Okay. Only the data processing instructions affect the flags, but not these branching instructions. Even though they are comparing, not only simply branch, they are combined with the compare instruction as well, but still they are not going to affect the APSR register or the flags.
Thank you.